Hello friends, this video on matter and magnetism part 6 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Please make sure that you have watched all the videos till part 5 before going ahead with part 6. So now let us look at what happens when a dipole is placed in a uniform magnetic field. Now when I talk about magnetic field and when I use the terms like uniform magnetic field or non-uniform magnetic field, it still holds the same meaning, right? When I talk about uniform magnetic field, it means that the strength of the magnetic field is uniform throughout. I mean, it is not that somewhere the magnetic field lines are more dense, somewhere the magnetic field lines are less dense. It is not like that. It is all the same throughout. The magnitude of the magnetic field is the same throughout. Whereas when I talk about non-uniform magnetic field, it is like somewhere the strength is more, somewhere the strength is less, and that is what is known as non-uniform magnetic field. So here we will talk about mostly everywhere here. For to keep things simple, we will talk about uniform magnetic field, right? So now we will get to know about what happens if I place a magnetic dipole. Here, whenever I'm talking about a dipole, I mean a magnetic dipole. So if I place a magnetic dipole in a uniform magnetic field, then what would happen? So we get some idea about the direction of magnetic field from the pattern of the magnetic field lines, like what, because the magnetic field lines does not tell us anything about the value of the or the magnitude of the magnetic field precisely. For example, let us suppose there are some magnetic field lines drawn somewhat like this. By looking at these field lines, we can tell very exactly what would be the direction of magnetic field at any point, right? Because we can draw a tangent and we can say that this is the direction of magnetic field at this point. But when it comes to magnitude, the only thing that these magnetic field lines depict is that if the field lines are denser, that means the magnetic field is of greater strength. That means the magnitude is high. But it doesn't say what is the magnitude. It doesn't talk about the exact value of magnetic field. So what do we do for accurate magnitude of magnetic field? Because that magnitude is also necessary, right? So what do we do now? We place a magnetic compass needle of known magnetic moment. I mean, I know the magnetic moment of that compass needle. Let us suppose that I have this compass, magnetic compass, which you see here, and I know that the magnetic moment of this compass is m, and also the moment of inertia is I, right? And I place this compass in a uniform magnetic field. So what happens when I place this in uniform magnetic field? We find that the needle oscillates. So oscillation takes place. Now if oscillation is taking place, that means there is some external factor which is causing the needle to oscillate. So what is that external factor? That external factor is nothing but torque. So torque, which we generally denote as tau, it acts on the magnetic needle when it is suspended in a uniform magnetic field. And because of this torque, because what is torque? Torque is nothing but force which acts on different lines. If equal and opposite forces act on same line, then the net force on the object will be zero. But if equal and opposite forces act on different lines, in that case it will cause a rotation, right? For example, if I give a force from here and another force from here, what will happen? This force will ask this to move like this. Similarly, this force will ask this to move like this. So as a result, the entire object will start rotating. So torque acts on this magnetic needle, which causes it to oscillate. So what is that torque which acts on the magnetic needle? Let us suppose that this uniform magnetic field is B, is denoted by B. And I have already mentioned that the magnetic moment of the needle that is known to us, and that is M. So what would be the torque acting on the needle? The torque would be nothing but M cross B, which we can write it as MB sine theta, where theta is the angle between the magnetic moment of the needle and the magnetic field, right? So this is nothing but the deflecting torque. This torque is the deflecting torque, because this is the torque which is causing the needle to deflect from its position, from its mean position. As soon as you leave the needle in the magnetic field, it starts oscillating. So that means as soon as you leave it, a torque acts which asks it to deflect. The torque forces it to deflect. So the torque which forces the needle to deflect from its original position, that is the deflecting torque, which is given by M cross B, right? We have already derived this expression for torque in our previous lesson, right? So this is the deflecting torque. Now what happens in equilibrium? In equilibrium, but at the same time, there is not only deflecting torque, there is another torque which is called restoring torque, which asks the needle to come back to its original position. What do you mean by oscillation? It means that it is oscillating about its mean position. If this is its mean position, it is going to the extreme position, coming back to the mean position, again going, coming back. So it is like back and forth motion. So that means there is one torque which is deflecting torque, which is making it to move or get deflected from its mean position. But there is another torque called restoring torque, which is asking it to come back to its original position, right? So there is a restoring torque as well. Now what happens in equilibrium? The restoring torque becomes equal to I alpha, right? This is according to Newton's second law, right? So the restoring torque is equal to I alpha. Now in equilibrium, your deflecting torque will be equal to the restoring torque. So what is your deflecting torque? So this restoring torque can be written as the same as deflecting torque. So my deflecting torque is mb sine theta. And what is my restoring torque? Restoring torque is I alpha. Now this I alpha can be written as, alpha is nothing but angular acceleration. So this can be written as d omega by dt, where omega is angular velocity. This can again be written as d square theta by dt square, right? So now we can say that mb sine theta. So now this m will have a negative sign, because the restoring torque and the deflecting torque will act in opposite direction to each other. So this will be equal to I d square theta divided by dt square. Now for small theta, for small values of theta, let us assume that it is oscillating, making small angles with the magnetic field. So if theta is very small, in that case we can approximate sine theta to theta, right? You would have studied all these things in your trigonometry. Therefore we can write minus mb theta is equal to I d square theta divided by dt square. So from this we can write d square theta by dt square is equal to minus mb by I into theta. So now what does this equation show? This equation resembles the simple harmonic motion equation. What was SHM equation? The equation which represents simple harmonic motion is d square x by dt square is equal to minus omega square x, right? So these two equations resemble. So that means the motion is simple harmonic motion. So this expression tells us that the motion of a magnetic needle when suspended in uniform magnetic field is simple harmonic motion, right? Now from this, and comparing this equation with this equation, we can also say that omega square is equal to mb divided by I, or from this we can say that b is equal to omega square I divided by m. Now what is this omega? Omega is nothing but angular velocity, which can also be written as 2 pi divided by t, because omega can be written as 2 pi nu. Omega can be written as 2 pi nu, and nu is the frequency, which can be written as 1 by t. So this can be written as 2 pi by t whole square into I by m. So this is 4 pi square I divided by mt square. Right? So from this we can write that the magnetic field B is equal to 4 pi square I divided by mt square. So this is the exact magnitude of the magnetic field. So you understood this was just like how do we determine magnetic field, the magnitude of magnetic field. So for that what we did, we just took a magnetic compass and we placed it in uniform magnetic field. So what did we observe? We observed that the needle started oscillating. So if the needle is oscillating, that means there is a torque which is acting on the needle, which there is something which asks it to move from its original position. Because if there is no external factor asking it to move, then it will not move at all. Right? So there is one deflecting torque which asks it to move away from its original position, and there is another restoring torque which is asking it to come back to its original position. Now under equilibrium condition, what is happening? The deflecting torque becomes equal to the restoring torque. So my deflecting torque was given by m cross b, right? And my restoring torque is, according to Newton's second law, is given by I into alpha, where I is the moment of inertia and alpha is the angular acceleration. So under equilibrium, this restoring torque becomes equal to the deflecting torque, and from there we are able to calculate, or we are able to reach an expression for magnetic field. So this is how we can precisely calculate the magnitude of magnetic field. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.